Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Glad to join you in your evening, wherever you are. I just wanted to make this quick video. I was about to go for a run right now, and I thought to myself, you know what? I have this 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 topic I wanted to talk about for a couple hours now that it was just brewing up in my mind, and I just couldn't start it for anything. So I had this aha moment. I'm like, you know what? I want to talk about this topic, how we might be setting how you might be setting yourself up for failure and the solution. This is based on my own life, based on my own experience. And a lot of times we don't understand that our thoughts actually create an emotional state in your mind. So what you think about, you put energy into it. You literally put your thought energy into a thought, okay? And say the thought is something that happened to you, 10 years ago, and you're really putting, you're in the regular world, doing your whatever you're doing, uh, maybe driving or maybe you're cooking, right? And your thought is maybe in a time where you um, went to someone's house and you know um, their cooking was like this and you really didn't like it, whatever, maybe you liked it, or and then you're comparing yourself to this person now, and you're cooking that, you're putting thought into that event, and you're getting the emotional effects of it in the present now, and you don't think that's going to affect what you're doing. See, that energy gets transferred into whatever you're doing. So maybe you'll put too much salt in there, and then it'll start a reaction of, like, maybe your husband will not like it because it's too salty or not salty enough, and then it begets more thoughts of that nature, because that energy has to go somewhere. The energy of that thought you had when you put in the food, it's literally in this. It's literally consciousness, because we know in quantum physics that your thoughts are actually real. They're actually they're actually waves that infinity existed. Everything in the world, this is Islamic principles now. I'm talking about everything existed. Everything exists in the now, right now. Everything in the past, present, future, anything that's supposed to come, anything that will come, all different possibilities exist in the moment right now. When you put your thought upon a certain uh, uh, emotions and things, you're putting energy into what you're doing, and that energy will be attached to that energy of whatever it is. Okay, and then when someone else consumes it, they're consuming that energy also, and whatever is attached to it. That's why in Islam we have a ritual sacrifice of an animal. We have to drain the blood in the name of Allah, and what it's supposed to, like, psychologically and metaphysically, and in that it's basically um, attaching the name of Allah on the animal, which you will eat by saying Bismillah, and it'll basically synergize with your body, and it'll feed your physical body, but it's going to feed the spiritual body also. And if the physical body is sick, then it's usually a direct correspondence to something in the something is something in a root cause in the physical body that is actually that's the physical manifestation of a thought form that became something that manifested to the physical. Like, this is real. This is where spirituality and science mix together. This is the quantum. Okay, and thoughts are things. So a lot of us, we think all these bad thoughts, into every situation. Oh, what if I do this? What if, oh, it's gonna fail? Or every time we do something, we add bad thoughts to it, and that weighs it down in density in the dunya. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't allow it to expand. So the way you can allow something to grow is by putting the opposite thought into it. So instead of thinking it's going to fail, don't plan for the failure. Just don't just be in the realm of success. Be in the realm of not even success, because if you are chasing after success, there is failure. It's a polarity. It's all the same thing. Success, you can't have success without failure. And if you failed all your life and you're chasing after success, then you actually succeeded in the thought you had of failure, because that was your vibration. Now, what you have to do is you have to become the thought form where the vibration, the frequency of where what is success. Like you have to define what is success. Okay, to be well liked by many people, to have health, to have abundance, to have real value. So it's like that's what it is. You have to add value, and then the byproduct will become all these successes that the physical wants. And you have to really not chase after success, but chase after a intent. Not even chase. It's like you just align yourself with that intent. It's like this is the law of attraction for Muslims. This is the principles of the law of attraction, with the understanding that we have of Allah and the attributes of Allah, and what angels are, and what these other forms of energy are, what we call them, and Bakara, and what is what our rituals, esoteric rituals are, uh, that allow us to get to that vibration state in our physical. Like I talk about, like the dua. When you make dua is the actual prayer. Prayer is the 5 times of prayer. It's not just pray, and then you've done it, and then make a quick dua. No, actually, it's a series. Each 5 times a day, you're supposed to get to a certain vibration where you have a communion with the divine, and you bring out the attributes of the divine through you. Because when you make the wudu, you're ritualistically and physically cleaning yourself. Physically cleaning yourself, but it's a spiritual cleansing. Okay, with the different words you say, subhanallah, you say different words, and it's literally programming your aura, your energy, your the energy all around you. Because everything, there's no separation. It's all energy. Just we can't see it in our light spectrum. This is scientific. So you're cleaning your energy, and you're putting more consciousness in that form. Okay, and then you do the prayer, you do the movements, you do the duas and the different surahs, which are a certain vibration and frequency, and it gets you to a certain frequency with them different movements, with the flow of energy, with the chi. That's what it is. It's different angles and movements, and 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 then after that, you now are vibrationally at the realm where you can make dua. Like you can literally have you're in Allah. Allah is in you. That's what it is, basically, because He said, Allah says this. I'm not gonna say He, but Allah, the divine, says, when you remember me in you, I too remember you in me. So it's like all things belong to the divine. Happiness, success, power, all those attributes, they're all belong to the divine. It doesn't belong to the nafs. It doesn't belong to the physical. So, but even punishment belongs to the divine. Death belongs to the divine. Everything belongs to the divine. So what you have to do is you have to harness certain attributes from the divine to flow through you and to your world, and it's literally through your thoughts. Your thoughts are very powerful. What you say to yourself about yourself, that's true. What you think about the creator, that's true. you know um, you know uh, uh, If you only focus on the punishing aspect of the creator, then you will, for your nafs to make that statement true, it's gonna do things that will become true, where you will always be scared of death, and you'll always be scared of that because you know you did so much wrong in your life. You weren't, you were arrogant, you were this, you were that, and you were chasing after the world. You looked for happiness, you thought you had it because you had money, but you didn't. And it's like you weren't being authentic, and and being authentic is, the authentic you is not your physical form. The authentic you is this newer from Allah that is a part of Allah. It cannot not be a part of Allah. So it's like you should be anchored in that knowledge that you're directly, tied to Allah. There's no separation. And in order for your nafs, your physical, to understand this, it's created separation, because we are a physical body and we have pleasures and things like that. And there's nothing wrong with those things. You can have those. It's just, what frequency and vibration are you obtaining it? Where is it anchored from? Now, when you anchor it from to Allah, to the divine, to infinity, then the byproduct becomes a physical manifestation of abundance, of whatever attribute you're flowing through you. So you have a talent, you have something of value to offer. You have to tap into that. It could be anything. It could be if you're a coder and you have some, you have some coding that you put your mark in something, that's okay. You know what? You can leave something behind that will, that it's be like, yes, you know what? Javier was alive and this is what he did, and people, after you die, they'll remember you, and every time your energy or your symbol will be evoked, it's like it'll bring something good upon through somebody else, so it's like that energy of you never really dies, and it's something that's good left behind. And it's like, you have to really know that if that's how you want to end your life, as in, like, if that's how you want to live your life. So then you can only do that by being authentic. And so why sell yourself short? Why say bad things about yourself? And then all these things that trigger you, you look at it and be like, you know what? Maybe I'm lazy. You know what? The reason why I even transformed myself personally is I was called lazy by a friend of mine that got me thinking, and it's like, I didn't respond by, I didn't swear and be like, I am not lazy, I'm very, I'm like, man, actually, you know what? I have been lazy because there's something I was supposed to do for like 2 weeks. I had 2 weeks to do this thing, and I was like, I didn't do it, and I did it like last minute, and it's like, what the hell, man? It's like I was procrastinating, I was being lazy, whatever, and it was true. And it's just that I realized I feared that I couldn't do it, that it wouldn't be good enough, or this, that, and I listened to that fear within myself, and it made it true that I did procrastinate. But obviously everything is supposed to happen, it happens, and it led me to these realizations because I didn't allow my ego to kind of take over, the nafs to take over, the emotions to be like, take over and just try to attack. I kind of was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to that advice. And yeah, okay, you know what? I am lazy. I'm not going to be lazy now. Okay, I accepted the fact I'm lazy. This version of me, now I'm going to be this other person that it can't be lazy, because it can't be. The more you ascend, the more you develop yourself, you leave laziness behind, you leave judgment behind, you leave all these tie downs behind that you've allowed other people to control, and this is part of the whole thing about setting yourself up for failure, because a lot of times we also give our power away to other people, where they trigger us and they can push a button and it'll take you down, to a low vibration state where you're just arguing, or you get triggered and you want to eat some junk food, you know, or you get triggered and you want to just watch and you want to escape that situation psychologically, subconsciously. So you just binge watch TV or Netflix for 3-4 episodes, and you do this 3-4 times a day or a night. It's like, this is real, and then it all starts from your thoughts, knowing that your thoughts have power in them, and they are things. They are literally, you're collapsing part of that infinity, because everything is possible, every single scenario. This is your reality. In my reality, everything's possible in my reality. Everything's possible in your reality. Maybe in my reality, I believe in unicorns. Maybe in yours, you believe in, pink, I don't know, fairies, whatever. I'm just saying, maybe in your reality, you only believe what your authoritative figure in your mind says. So you only believe like Ivy League schools over non-Ivy League schools, and then you'll believe the university over like the state colleges, or some people will believe they only believe the this, whatever. I'm just telling you, this is how it is. But what I'm saying is that your thoughts are real. Okay, and focus on better aspects. Focus on improving yourself. Focus on committing yourself to improvement, because you can't just be interested in personal development. I teach this in my Law of Attraction for Muslims. I started lawofattractionformuslims.com, and in a few weeks I'm going to be launching by the time the holidays come around. And I really was out there looking for solutions on my own, and there wasn't anything that spoke to me in my language, in the language of the West, and when Law of Attraction came around, I adopted Law of Attraction system. But then I realized that there's two separate Law of Attraction. One's all about prosperity consciousness and getting more things, and that was journaling and gratitude journals and this and that, and all was based on it was all based on the physical, having a nice place and manifesting trips, and then I got into it that route. And then the more I got into it, then it was man, it's very materialistic, it's but I know it's I wanted to get spiritual also, and the material. But and the crazy thing is, a lot of the Christian stuff is very prosperity consciousness in their Christian definition, and it's very so I actually got some of these programs myself. Not to to get a solution from them, but I was like, what is this about? What do they talk about? It's like when they talk about Jesus and all this stuff, what the hell is it? So I got it, and it's like, wow, this stuff is, it's pretty good, And then if more people are open-minded to put their own take out things that they don't resonate with and replace it with certain words, and it's like, wow, this is a really good system. And so that's where I thought of Law of Attraction for Muslims. And so I'm, inshallah, going to introduce that system to the world, and in hopes to clarify a lot of these problems we have in our own community, because we have problems in the individual level of confidence, low confidence. Because so many of us have dreams and really different desires, but we traded our soul in for the security of the dunya, and just did what our parents think is security, and we bought into the notion of that construct. But now we are in the age of awakening. We are, how do we as Muslims, talk about the Dajjal, this abstract concepts? That's why it's not talked about, because it's so abstract that a certain part of the population of the Muslims, they feel ashamed to even talk about it, because it's so abstract that they'll look weird to the people around you. Muslims or non-Muslims alike. you know. So 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 a lot of times the masjids and the institutions, they stay away from these things, and this is what I address. But I address it in a way where it talks about the quantum physics and science and the electrons and neutrons and all these atoms, and then we take that and we take that Islamic concept of, like, for example, the Jal, or the nafs, and what is that in terms of the Western psychology, quantum physics, because quantum physics could only deal with the scene, because now they can see the particles, but they've concluded that, okay, each each time they see the atom, when they go even more closer, there's more atoms, and it's made up of more atoms, and it's just goes on forever. You know, it's like they cannot talk about consciousness because they can't, because that is the creator, the consciousness. But that power to invoke, to summon those attributes of strength, of courage, of power, of happiness, of even punishment. That is it can be instead of a punishment. If you think of punishment in terms of the physical, then you're punishing somebody for some crime, right? But I'm talking about your higher self punishing your lower self, your nafs, your ego, but in a way that is with love. So, for example, your lower self, like if not eating chocolate could feel like punishment to the lower self, to the body, with different withdrawals, or even not allowing to watch TV and be influenced by that, by the programming of the TV and all that stuff, and the time that you waste and all that stuff, and it doesn't improve your life. And for example, that's punishment, you know but it will yield a positive result, where that after the withdrawals and stuff, then it'll be more clear, it'll have more time to other things. So it's just, or it'll get healthier because it's cut off the sugar and the diabetes and the insulin, and then which it's like, it's very deep, and this is what the program actually talks about. It's how do you live that life where you're living in that quantum, you're living as a manifester of your thoughts and your mind state, and you don't get, you build your confidence. You have confidence running through you. You can't be fooled by other people. You can see, you can utilize your wisdom. You have the tools to become efficient in anything you do, because you really understand the value of everything, because everything is connected. So why would you want to waste your time? Why would you want to waste your energy into something that uh, actually in the end makes that coffin even smaller for you, which is the box? We think of, oh, your box, expand your box. That box is the coffin, literally. That's your coffin. You know how they say when you're in the coffin, like you will live in whatever, like if you were a believer, your coffin will be spread open field and this and that. And if you were like different degrees of non-believers and whatnot, the coffin will sometimes even punish you in the grave. And it's like, is that not what this is? This is like the grave, and your thoughts, you're punishing yourself. And it's tightening up your ribs, and you can't breathe. It's like heart attack. It's like your lungs are becoming so hardened from all that smoking. You can't take in breath. It's like you're dying slowly. Is this not what we are in this coffin? And your thoughts change your physical nature. Even endorphins and dopamine gets released once you change your thought. Don't think of it as a simple thing. Changing your thought pattern is the key to actually personal development, because once you change your thought, you actually start to face your fears, and you actually have to go, when you go through your fears, you get the energy of becoming the person that went through your fears. So that fear is no longer taking your energy away anymore. That's you know, I say a simple solution, but it's not. It's simpler. It's theoretically very easy, very simple, but to practice it is a different story, and it takes that consciousness. That's where you get the taqwa and all this stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That's when you start doing this God consciousness, because that is, imagine if you want to invoke that attributes of the divine, the 99 names of Allah, through yourself. And the more you can, the better your life will be. And if you make that your ultimate goal, would that not become would that not create a amazing byproduct that the nafs could never even imagine? Okay, so that's my talk for tonight. Please comment, share, and stay tuned for more videos like this. And please comment. I want to talk about some more aspects of law of attraction for Muslims. Let me ask you something. What is your view of law of attraction? Are you a proponent of it? What are your criticisms of it? What have you ever utilized it? Have you ever read upon it and actually followed the different principles that the mainstream law of attraction expounds on? So let me know, please comment, and have a nice day. Assalamu alaikum.